a modern-day cowboy.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
I was always kind of partial to Roy Rogers, actually.
But the fire is so delightful.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
And since we've no place to go,
come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Die Hard, New Year's Day movie action at 9 on Carlton.
Using this long camera lens and this powerful infrared device, I can be at 4,000 feet and still watch ITV.
I play this club quite a lot. It's always packed. And the crowd always shout, "Encore! Encore!" To the waiters.
Cronenbourg 1664, the best premium beer in France. Sorry.
The X Factor. Cover-ups, the paranormal, mysteries, UFOs. We give you the facts. You make up your own mind.
Okay, I want pastrami on Bavarian rye, sweet pickle, tomato. Easy on the Dijon, kosher dill and salt.
Excuse me, double decaf hazelnut latte, medium roasted Colombian beans, 2%.
Sirloin hoagie topped with jack cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, capers, and Russian dressing. Fresh Parmesan and oregano to go.
The new Chrysler Neon, built for the most demanding country in the world.
The Chubnets Monster's coming out soon, 'cause we're dangling some Cocoa Pops from our balloon. When he sees the milk and chocolatey, he'll come out with a spoon. But we're ready for him. Away we go! What do you like most about Kellogg's Cocoa Pops?
They turn the milk really chocolatey, see?
So as part of a nutritious breakfast, grab another bowl of Cocoa Pops.
The latest news in softness.
In the nursery where I work, the babies will always choose something soft to snuggle up to. My Declan's just the same. He loves anything soft against his skin. And because he wears his nappy 24 hours a day, it ought to be soft too.
Introducing Pampers Premiums with new Soft System, wrapping baby in softness, inside and out.
Outside, it's got a new waterproof cover that feels like cotton. And inside, it's got a lovely, soft, stretchy waistband. Like all Pampers, it keeps his skin dry. If Declan could choose, he'd go for softness every time.
New Pampers Premiums with Soft System, the softest Pampers for drier, happier babies.
Julia. Anna. Lisa.
Your hands
Christine.
say a lot about you.
Mother.
New Atrixo regenerating treatment for hands that don't give you away.
Now I can breathe, I can see, I can touch, I can feel, I can taste all the sugar sweetness in your kiss. You give me all the things I've ever missed. I've never felt like this. I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. You give me all the things I've ever missed. I've never felt like this. I'm alive.
There's someone new on the beat in San Francisco, taking on the criminals in style. Don Johnson is Detective Nash Bridges, soon on Carlton.
With the world at her feet, she's a woman of independent means.
I'm speaking about a considerable amount of money.
Now the world is hers.
You're a good girl, Beth.
But it's not only money she's inherited.
Oh, my God! She may never fully recover.
A woman of independent means begins tonight at 8:30 on 4.
You're watching Carlton. 10 minutes from now at 3:30, family fun with Disney's Bigfoot. Before that, we've the news in London today and the headlines from ITN.
Good afternoon. It's feared hundreds more families in Scotland may have eaten meat contaminated with a deadly E. coli bacteria. A Scottish supermarket chain has admitted most of its stores could have sold meat supplied by the butcher at the centre of the Lanarkshire food poisoning outbreak.
The supermarket chain Scotmid has confirmed that most of its stores may have sold meat from the butcher at the centre of the E. coli food poisoning outbreak. At first, a warning had been issued saying only a handful of the supermarket chain's 61 stores may have been involved. The supermarket is now advising customers not to eat cold meat or cooked pies bought before the 25th of November. One MP is calling for a full inquiry into the affair.
Well, it's a combination of anger and confusion. Anger because if these products are unsafe, that should have been announced to the public a month ago, before Christmas, as soon as they had purchased them. If they're not unsafe, then all that can happen with this now is further confusion and panic.
Strathclyde Police and environmental health officers are continuing to investigate the butcher John Barr. His shop is thought to be at the centre of the crisis. 16 people have died since the start of the E. coli outbreak last month. Neil Connery, ITN.
Blizzards already battering much of Europe hit parts of Britain this afternoon. Heavy falls are expected across much of the country later today, and forecasters predict an icy start to the new year. So far, the worst of the weather has been in the southeast, but this evening the storms and freezing temperatures will sweep north into Yorkshire. The freezing weather's prompted safety organisations to step up warnings about the dangers of ice on lakes and rivers. They follow yesterday's tragedy in Essex, in which a couple died after falling through ice. They were trying to rescue their dog. Probation officers have condemned government plans to use controversial electronic tags on child criminals as young as 10. Today, the government said it would extend the use of the tags in the new year, after research showed they worked in 3/4 of all cases.
When electronic tagging was first introduced 7 years ago, the results were disastrous. Most offenders simply broke their curfew orders and re-offended. But improved technology and increasing confidence in the courts about the reliability of the system have produced better results in the latest trials, prompting ministers to propose extending tagging to juvenile offenders as young as 10. But probation officers say the government's enthusiasm for the system is misplaced.
At the end of the day, the question we have to ask is it useful? Does it serve any purpose? And I think the answer is no. The orders are about 3 months long, therefore about 7 or 8 hours a day. The government's own propaganda says it can't reduce crime. What it is a form of partial house arrest that will have no impact on reoffending rates.
Despite the probation service's reservations, the government seems certain to extend the trials in the new year, and the system could eventually be used nationwide. Kevin Dunn, ITN.
The traditional Christmas political truce ended early today, with the 3 main parties launching fierce attacks on their opponents. Labour accused the Tories of planning a £7 million Get Blair offensive. The Tories said Labour were about to launch the dirtiest election campaign ever.
I think it's going to be dirtier than anything the British public have ever seen, and it will be easy for them to prove me wrong. It would be easy for them to deny that they're going to go down the same road as they have been down before. We will stick to what's on the record.
The number of flu cases has doubled in the past month, prompting fears that a serious outbreak may be on the way. One Hertfordshire hospital has recalled nurses from holiday to cope with its own mini-epidemic. Across the country, doctors confirm a sharp rise in cases involving 3 separate strains, but health chiefs say it's not an epidemic yet. More on that on the early evening news. Also, the British consul in Saudi Arabia has today met the 2 British nurses under arrest there on suspicion of murder. He hopes to arrange legal representation for them. We'll have the latest on that. Join me, 5:40.
Good afternoon. These are the headlines in London today. And first, police are warning New Year's Eve revellers to avoid Trafalgar Square. They say people could be crushed when the crowds build up for the traditional midnight celebrations. Owen Thomas reports.
Trafalgar Square, New Year's Eve, a policing nightmare.
There it goes!
100,000 people converge on central London. Those there love it. The police wish they'd all go home. Tanked up, excited crowds are not easy to control. People can get crushed, ambulance crews can't get through to help, and they're desperate to ensure that, as in other years, no one gets killed.
Well, our main problem, and certainly the problem of the last 6 years that I've been doing this, is the sheer density of the crowd and the crushing, and young people feeling that they're in the middle of a crowd, need to get out, and we have to send police officers in to actually get them out.
Access to the square this year will be tightly controlled. People will be searched. Anyone carrying alcohol, aerosols, fireworks or flares will not be allowed in. Neither will people who are obviously drunk. The fountains and Nelson's Column will be boarded up. The police don't care that they sound like killjoys. They say people's safety is their main concern. This is Owen Thomas for London Today.
Post-mortem examinations are taking place now on the couple from Essex who died saving their dog from a frozen lake. William and Jill Willis fell through the ice after chasing their pet Labrador onto a lake at Averley near their Upminster home. Christopher Peacock reports.
The lake remains frozen at Averley in Essex today. People still out walking their dogs at the very spot where a middle-aged couple lost their lives, trapped under the ice, trying to rescue their dog. William and Jill Willis, age 58, from Upminster in Essex, died despite frantic attempts to revive them. The reluctant hero, who risked his own life to pull them out, slipped away from Old Church Hospital at Romford after treatment for hypothermia, preferring not to leave his name and address.
He had no ropes, no lashings, no professional equipment, and he did very, very well. Very brave man to attempt what he did.
Today, the dangers of walking on ice and what can happen have once again been spelled out. But still, some animal lovers would say the emotive pull to go in after a trapped animal would be too strong to resist. The survivor of this tragedy, Tara, a black Labrador dog, is now being looked after in kennels. She's said to be well, but doesn't understand what has happened to her owners. At Averley in Essex, this is Christopher Peacock for London Today.
6-year-old Jack Feast from southeast London was born with a hole in his heart. But just minutes before major surgery, he inexplicably got better. Phil Bales reports.
He's a boy in a million. Little Jack Feast defied the odds and survived after doctors said he was just minutes from death. Jack had been attached to a heart bypass machine at Guy's Hospital while doctors repaired a hole in his heart. When it failed to work, Jack's parents were told to prepare for the worst.
They told us that he had a 5% chance of living, and when they turned the machine off, his heart just started working and got stronger and stronger as he is today.
I think Jack just definitely had the spirit to carry on. It wasn't his time to go.
But Jack was paralysed from the neck down. Only months of physiotherapy and his own great courage saw Jack back on his feet again. One man greatly impressed was Paul Merson, the Arsenal footballer, who'd been fighting his own personal battle against addiction. Now Jack will be guest of honour when the team plays Everton, but he's not sure of his mother's description of him as a little miracle.
She sometimes calls me Monster. It's funny, he always used to shout at me before he went into hospital, and one of the things I said was I'd never moan at him again for shouting at me. It was one of the things I first wanted to hear him do. Moan at me.
Doctors have paid tribute to Jack as a fighter. They say his determination to live won through. In Penge, this is Phil Bales for London Today.
And that's it for now, but join Mary and me for London Tonight at 6 o'clock. Until then, a very good afternoon to you.
Carlton weather, sponsored by First Choice Ski Holidays, for a fresher outlook.
Hello there once again. Things get even colder tonight with more snow showers, a widespread frost and icy stretches on those roads to watch out for. Here's the weather summary.
For a detailed forecast, call Weather Update, sponsored by First Choice Holidays on 0891 110000.
What happens when Hollywood men and women get together?
What is dating like in Hollywood?
You have to look a certain way.
Image is everything. So I think everyone leads their life as if they're being watched.
Celluloid glamour. Plastic surgery. Lots of money.
Isn't it sad?
Self-centered.
A lot of attitude.
Live it. I love it. You like it?
Yes!
Tinseltown, where dating mixes business with pleasure. Tasting Forbidden Fruit. Hollywood Lovers, a new series beginning soon on Carlton.
Kev, hold up. She's far behind. We have to wait for her.
Again? If she'd quit blowing on that stupid harmonica, she could hike faster.